Good morning, YouTube. Today's my last day here in Ecuador. I'm out on my little farm. This afternoon I need to pack my bags, head to the airport, and fly back to the US. Something I have always tried to do when making videos about my travels is take care to present things as they actually are, as they really feel to me, rather than try to create this Instagram-y, fake, perfect image of the places that I travel so that I don't steer people wrong. I think it's kind of the plague of the internet is that fake world, people making things look perfect when they are not, making things look better than they are. And I think it does a lot of harm. It causes people to make life decisions, such as moving to another country, based on bad information, based on something that's not real. And I really appreciate it when I see other YouTube channels that appear to try to do as I do and present life as it actually is through their own eyes, rather than perpetuating that sort of fake world. I just came across a great YouTube channel I didn't know existed. It's called 49 to 0. It's another guy kicking around Ecuador. He's down in Loja, Ecuador, which is way down in the southern end of Ecuador, whereas I'm up pretty far north in Ecuador. And I was pretty excited to see it. It's always happy to see somebody with a similar sensibility and style, and I think, sense of, responsibility for sharing their experiences in an honest way. So he touched on a topic in one of his videos that I want to explore as well, and that is kind of the phases you go through when you move overseas, when you move to a new country, to what you think is going to be your paradise, perhaps because you did fall into the trap of watching a bunch of YouTubers or other influencers that presented someplace as paradise. And sometimes I can do this too. Like when I first moved to Ecuador, it was fantastic. I loved it. But then I went through many years of it being rough. And now I've come full circle. And this, when I say this is my paradise, it really is. But there's a lot of people that they're just traveling through, right? And they present everything as wonderful. And people fall prey to it and move to a new country. And at first, while it's exciting and new, yeah, you might feel like everything is wonderful. But after a few years, and this is what this channel 49 to 0 was talking about in a recent video, you get out of that honeymoon phase and you settle into your daily reality, and it can be very hard. A lot of expats give up at this point because it's a heavy mental load. It is a heavy mental load, communicating in a different language, adapting to a different culture. Things that were easy become pretty difficult, and that can make people feel very isolated and grumpy. It can really be hard. And so, what am I trying to say here? I think a lot of people don't really understand a couple things that are happening that cause it to feel like that. One of them is the idea that no matter where you go, there you are, right? So like this concept that you can be a grumpy, depressed person in the US and think that moving to some sort of paradise will solve your problems. But then you're just going to be a grumpy, depressed person in paradise. You're still going to look at the negative. You're still going to be unhappy because it's who you are. So a lot of people become extremely depressed when that happens, because even if they don't understand it on a conscious level, subconsciously, yeah, they realize that the problem isn't where they are, it's who they are. If you were a super happy, positive person, you could have some low-paying job in some place with a low quality of life, and you can still be happy despite your environment and your surroundings. And if you're a super negative person, you can be in paradise. You could be here and you could be miserable. For me, the part of life here that I have the hardest time adapting to, and I really catch myself falling into that, this pattern of negative reactions and just having a hard time adjusting to the culture, is driving. I love Ecuador. I hate driving here. I don't mind driving when I'm out on the country roads, but the city driving, especially in Quito, it is brutal. It is miserable. And I have to catch myself because I set a bad example for my kids of having just these angry reactions in driving, and it's tough. It's tough. For other people, I see a lot of people have a hard time adapting to the tendency for Ecuadorians to not be honest in business dealings. So whether you are buying a piece of property or a car, or you've hired someone to do work on your house or build a house, or any of those sort of transactions, it's not all Ecuadorians, but a lot of Ecuadorians, life is hard here, money is tight, and a lot of people feel like it is completely justified to do business in a really dishonest way. And that can rub expats the wrong way. You have to learn how to understand the environment you're in, and never, if there's any way possible, never give people money ahead of time. That's a quick way to never see them again, or have a project that was supposed to take 3 weeks take 6 months and never actually get finished. Never pay in advance. Don't trust people in business dealings here. I wish it wasn't true. I wish that wasn't part of the culture, but it really is, and it's something that's hard for expats to adjust to. There's a particular expat that I've been chatting with for years, trying to help her understand what to expect and how to not make some of the same mistakes that I've made. And right now she's going through a really rough time. I think building or remodeling a house, and pretty much everything is not going to plan. And I'm like, well, part of that's just Ecuador. Construction is absolutely hard to do here. Nothing goes to plan. And part of it is you've got some business dealings where I think your contractors saw an opportunity to take advantage of you, because people will take advantage of expats, and you kind of have to learn how to handle yourself, how to proceed to avoid falling into those traps and getting out of the honeymoon phase with Ecuador and into the harsh reality. But as Warren, the guy with the 49-0 channel, pointed out, if you get through it on the other side, you do get back to your paradise, and a more real, honest version of it, where you experience a very beautiful life, not because everything's exciting and new and you're unaware of all the problems underneath the surface, but because it actually is a beautiful life. So here I am, last day on my farm, about to fly back to Texas. I go back and forth. To me, it's like going back and forth between heaven and hell. Because when I'm not here, I'm working in a giant data center, working like 12 hours a day, kind of a brutal lifestyle, something I've chosen on purpose, because I am in a race to make as much money as I can, as fast as I can, so that I can escape that life and plant my feet here permanently in my little paradise. I don't know if I was very articulate in this video. I kind of rambled a bit. But I hope the point gets across. I hope other expats learn to kind of filter out the YouTube channels that present everything as perfect and beautiful and hide the reality. The algorithm, it really rewards that. It rewards making things seem better than they are and skipping over the negatives. And it doesn't do people justice. So I hope this helps people kind of watch for that and find the honest sort of information they need so that other people can go into this experience with open eyes. And I hope it helps people get through the hard times where you're really settling into the daily grind of a new life when the honeymoon phase is over, and help people get through it rather than give up. I've seen a lot of expats, whether it's here or in Thailand or the Philippines or wherever in the world, I've seen a lot of expats give up. They try it for a few years, they decide it's not for them, and they give up. And maybe they're right, maybe it's not for them, but I feel like it's just as likely that they just haven't taken enough time to get through the hard adjustment period. Speaking of hard, my neighbors are hand drilling a well, or hand digging. Digging this well by hand right here is expected to take 1 month. 1 month to go down 50 meters, because you get down through the topsoil and then there's a layer of lots of rocks. It's hard digging. Kind of a metaphor for this video. The idea of having a well on your property is great. It's wonderful. The reality of digging the well is brutal. It is a really hard thing to do. But if you get through it, if you don't give up halfway through, when you get to the end and you've dug all the way down, once again, you come back around to something wonderful. You just got to get through the hard adjustment. Anyway, thanks to Warren and the channel 49-0 for giving me some pertinent thoughts. Helped me get through my hard days of traveling back and forth between the US and Ecuador and working the job I got to work right now so that I can make this beautiful life my daily reality and not just a little break between stints of work. See you later, YouTube.